Saradavana Lalita Loka Jaya Karuna Ganaganatvam Baptasya Kalyana Gunaravasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nitya Gita Aditya Madhyan Manasurasena Romanchakampa Suttaranga Bhajo Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam Shri Vigrahara Dhananityanana Sringaratan Mandira Majinado Yuktasya Bhaktam Saniyunjatopi Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam Chaturvidashi Bhagavat Prasado Swadvana Chiptan Hari Bhakta Sangham Kirtaiva Chiptim Bhajata Sadaiva Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam Samsaradava Nalalila Loka Chanaya Karuna Gunagnatvam Bhaptasya Kalyana Gunaravasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam Shiradika Mad Avayurapara Madhurya Lila Narupanamna Pratikshana Dhanalolupasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Nikunja Yuno Rati Kedi Sedai Jaya Libi Yuktira Pekshanina Katarati Daksharati Balabasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Shakshadhari te asamasta sastri Yuktastata bhavya vyadeva sadvi Kintu prabhuya priya eva tasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Bolo Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Yasha Prasada Bhagavat Prasada Yasha Prasada Nanakatir Kahatopi Naim Stutvam Stasya Yasastri Sangam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam 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 Nama Om Vishnu Pradaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namah Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskatya Desatarine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskatya Desatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavindam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavindam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavindam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavindam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavindam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavindam Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol, Nita Gora Hari Bol, Nita Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nita Gora Hari Bol. Tagore Premanandi ki jai, Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvajika Chasta Tarasatara Shri Shrimadis Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem Shri Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinda ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Samkunda Radha Kunda Kirgyodana ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glorious assembled devotees. All glorious to assembled devotees. All glorious to assembled devotees. All glorious to Shri Guru and Shri Guru glorious to Srila Prabhupada. Namam Ishwaram Satchidananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Bhajamanam Yashoda biyalu kaladavamanam Param drishtam adyanta tojutya kopya Rudam tamuhur netra yugmam rijatam Karam boja yukmena satanka netram Muhursvasakam patrilekanka ganta Stita graivam damodaram bhaktibadam Iti driksvalila birananda kunde Swagosamni mahajantam agyapayantam Tadiyesi jyatesu bhakta chitatvam Punak prematam tam sataviti vande Bhakta chitatvam Punak prematastam sataviti vande Param deva moksham na mokshavadim va Nachanyam vrineham vare sadapriha Idam teva munata gopala balam Sada me manasa virastam timanyai Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Idam te mukambojam adyanta nilar, Ritam kuntala heshtika raktascha gopya. Muhuschumbitam bimba raktam darame, Manasavirastam alam lakshalabai. Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu, Prasiddha Prabodhuka Jalabdi Magnam. Kripa Dristi Ristiati Dinam Batanu, Grihane Samamajnam Ediakshi Dristya. Kuvera Atmajo Madamudjaiva Yadvad, Tvaya Muchito Bhakti Bhajokito Cha. Tata Prema Bhaktim Swakame Prayacha, Namokse Graho Mesti Damodareya. Namaste stu damne spura dipti damne, Tvadi udarayata vishwasya damne. Namo Radhikaya Twadiyai Priyaya, Namo Nanta Lilaya Devaya Tubhyam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Tamadaraştakam ki jai.
Yato yato yami tato Nrsimha. Yato yato
yami tato Nrsimha.
Oh yato yato yami tato Nrsimha.
Yato yato yami tato Nrsimha.
Bahe Nrsimha hridaye Nrsimha. Nrsimhamadim sharanam prapade. Nrsimhamadim sharanam prapade. Tava kara kamala bare nakam adbhuta singam. Dalita liranakashipu tanubringa. Keshavadrita narahari rupa. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare.
Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare.
Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Lakshmi Narasimha. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha.
Jaya Narasimha Dev. Jaya Narasimha Dev. Jaya Narasimha Dev. Jaya Narasimha Dev.
Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj.
Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj.
Jaya Prabhupada. 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Dev Bhagwan ki jai. Vrindaye tulsi devai priyaye keshavasya cha. Vishnu bhakti pradidevi satirahataye namo namaha. Vrindaye tulsi deva priyaye keshavasya cha. Vishnu bhakti pradidevi satirahataye namo namaha. Vrindaye tulsi deva priyaye keshavasya cha. Vishnu bhakti pradidevi satirahataye namo namaha. Vrindaye tulsi devi Maharani ki jai.
Namo Namaha Tulasi Krishna Preyasi Namo Namaha Tulasi
Krishna Preyasi Namo Namah
Radha Krishna Seva Pavo Eya Vilasi
Radha Krishna Seva Baba Eya Vilasi
Radha Krishna Seva Pavo Eya Vilasi
Radha Krishna Seva Baba Eya Vilasi
Je tomar sharan loy Tara vancha purna hoy
Tumhara sarana laya Tara vacha purna hoy
Kripa kori koro tare Vrindavanavasi
Kripakari karadare Vrindavanavasi
Kripa kori koro tare Vrindavanavasi
Kripakari karadare Vrindavanavasi
Moraya Vilas Vilas kunje diyova
Mora eya vilasa Vilas kunje diyo vasa
Nayane heribo sada Yugal ruparasi
Nayane rivasada Yugala rupanasi
Nayane heribo sada Yugal ruparasi
Nayane rivasada Yugala rupanasi
Nivedana daro Shakiranu gata koro
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 Seva adhikar diye koro nij dasi
Seva adhikar diye koro nij dasi
Dina Krishna dase ko ye namo rahoy
Dina Krishna dasi ko ye namo rahoy
Dina Krishna dase ko ye namo rahoy
Dina Krishna dasi ko ye namo rahoy
Shri Radha Govinda preme sadaye navasi
Shri Radha Govinda preme sadaye navasi
Shri Radha Govinda preme sadaye navasi
Shri Radha Govinda preme sadaye namaste
Shri Radha Govinda preme sadaye navasi
Shri Radha Govinda preme sadaye namaste
Yani kani cha papani Brahmahatyadikani cha Tani tani pranashanti Pradakshina pade pade
Yani kani chapapani Mahatyadikani cha Tani tani pranashanti
तानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे
यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे
यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे
यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi, Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi.
Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi.
Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani.
Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol.
Tulsi Devi Maharani ki jai, Vrindaye Tulsi Devaye, Priyaye Kishavaisya cha, Vishnu Bhakti Prati Devi Satyavratai Namo Namaha. Vrindaye Tulsi Devaye, Priyaye Kishavaisya cha, Vishnu Bhakti Prati Devi Satyavratai Namo Namaha. Vrindaye Tulsi Devaye, Priyaye Kishavaisya cha, Vishnu Bhakti Prati Devi Satyavratai Namo Namaha. Vrindaye Tulsi Devi Maharani ki jai. Oh Tulasi, beloved of Krishna, I bow before you again and again. My desire is to obtain the service of Shri Radha and Krishna. Whoever takes shelter of you has his wishes fulfilled. Bestowing your mercy upon him, you make him a resident of Vrindavana. My desire is that you will also give me a residence in the pleasure groves of Sri Vrindavana Dham. Thus, within my vision, I'll always behold the beautiful pastimes of Radha and Krishna. I beg you to make me a follower of the cowherd damsels of Raja. Please give me the privilege of devotional service and make me your own maidservant. This very fallen and lowly servant of Krishna prays, may always from the love of Shri Shri Radha and Govinda, Tulsi Devi Maharani ki jai. So today, because it is a special day and everybody's pressed for time, we will, I want to say a few things about Damodar Astakam. Huh? Yeah, okay. There are 10 offenses that should be avoided in the chanting of the holy name, and they are as follows. 1, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives to propagating holy names of the Lord. 2, consider names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to independent names of Lord Vishnu. 3, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4, to blaspheme the Vedic literature pursuant to the Vedic version. 5, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna as imagination. 6, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. 7, to commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name of the Lord. 8, consider chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities of karmakanda. 9, to instruct the faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10, to not have complete faith in chanting holy names and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions in this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Everybody who claims to be Vaishnava must carefully guard against these 10 offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. Now let us offer our most humble obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just like desire trees that can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Vanchakalpa tarabhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnava Thakur ki jai. By a fortuitous conjunction of time and space, the verse today in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7, Text 30, is all about Damodar Astakam. So it is Canto 2, Chapter 7, verse number 30, Grinita yad yad upabandam amusya mata sulbam sutasya natutat tad amusya mati yad jimram bato sya vadane Bhuvanani Gopi Samvikshya Sankita Manaha Pratibodhita Sit. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. When the cowherd women, Krishna's foster mother, Yasoda, was trying to tie the hands of her son with ropes, she found the rope to be always insufficient in length. And when she finally gave up, Lord Krishna, by and by, opened his mouth, wherein the mother found all the universes situated. Seeing this, she was doubtful in her mind, but she was convinced in a different manner of the mystic nature of her son. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. One day, Lord Krishna, as the naughty child, disturbed his mother Yasoda, and she began to tie up the child with ropes just to punish him. But no matter how much rope she used, she found it always insufficient. Thus she became fatigued. But in the meantime, the Lord opened his mouth, and the affectionate mother saw within the mouth of her son all the universes situated together. The mother was astonished, but out of her deep affection for Krishna, she thought that the Almighty Godhead Narayana had kindly looked after her son just to protect him from all the continuous calamities happening to him. Because of her deep affection for Krishna, she could never think that her very son was Narayana, the personality of Godhead himself. That is the action of Yogamaya, the internal potency of the Supreme Lord, which acts to perfect all pastimes of the Lord with his different types of devotees. Who could play such wonders without being God? Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When the cowherd women, Krishna's foster mother Yasoda, was trying to tie the hands of her son with ropes, she found the rope to be always insufficient in length. And when she finally gave up, Lord Krishna by and by opened his mouth, wherein the mother found all the universes situated. Seeing this, she was doubtful in her mind, but she was convinced in a different manner of the mystic nature of her son. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So this is very, very interesting and mysterious. And as we were explaining yesterday, it's impossible for people to understand this unless they become a devotee and engage in devotional service. Even the greatest scholars and scientists and politicians and even Mayavadis, great yogis, they can't understand this. This is incredible. Incredulous, as they say in English. So in the 10th canto, 9th chapter, 10th verse, Srimad Bhagavatam says, while following Krishna, Mother Yasoda, her thin waist, overburdened by her heavy breasts, naturally had to reduce her speed. Because of following Krishna very swiftly, her hair became loose, and the flowers in her hair were falling after her. Yet she did not fail to capture her son, Krishna. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, yogis cannot capture Krishna by severe penances and austerities, but Mother Yasoda, despite all obstacles, was finally able to catch Krishna without difficulty. This is the difference between a yogi and a bhakta. Yogis cannot enter even the effulgence of Krishna. Yasya prabha prabhavato jagadanda kotisu. Brahma Samhita 5.40. In that effulgence, there are millions of universes, but yogis and jnanis cannot enter that effulgence even after many, many years of austerities. Whereas bhaktas can capture Krishna simply by love and affection. This is the example shown here by Mother Yasoda. Krishna therefore confirms that if one wants to capture him, one must undertake devotional service. Bhaktya mam abhijananti yavanyas jasmi tatvata tatomam tatvato yatva vishitetat anantaram. Srimad Bhagavad Gita 18.55. Bhaktas enter even the planet of Krishna very easily, but the less intelligent yogis and jnanis, by their meditation, remain running after Krishna. Even if they enter Krishna's effulgence, they fall down. So that is a wonderful purport by Srila Prabhupada. And this is further explained in the prayers of Queen Kunti Devi in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, verse 30 and 31, where it says, of course it is bewildering, O soul of the universe, that you work though you are inactive, and that you take birth though you are the vital force and the unborn. You yourself descend amongst animals, men, sages, and aquatics. Verily, this is bewildering. And in the purport, Prabhupada writes, the transcendental pastimes of the Lord are not only bewildering, but also apparently contradictory. In other words, they are all inconceivable to the limited thinking power of the human being. The Lord is the all-prevailing supersoul of all existence, and yet he appears in the form of a boar, meaning like a pig, but a wild one, amongst the animals, in the form of a human being as Rama or Krishna, etc., in the form of a rishi like Narayana, and in the form of an aquatic like a fish. Yet it is said that he is unborn, and he has nothing to do. In the Shruti mantra, it is said that the Supreme Brahman has nothing to do. No one is equal to or greater than him. He has manifold energies, and everything is performed by him perfectly, by automatic knowledge, strength, and activity. All these statements prove without any question that the Lord's activities, forms, and deeds are all inconceivable to our limited thinking power. And because he is inconceivably powerful, everything is possible in him. Therefore, no one can calculate him exactly. Every action of the Lord is bewildering to the common man. He cannot be understood by the Vedic knowledge, but he can be easily understood by the pure devotees because they are intimately related with him. The devotees therefore know that although he appears amongst the animals, he is not an animal, nor a man, nor a rishi, nor a fish. He is eternally the Supreme Lord in all circumstances. And then the next verse, 31, says, My dear Krishna, Yasoda took up a rope to bind you when you committed an offense. So this is Kunti Devi speaking. Right? And your perturbed eyes overflooded with tears, which washed the mascara from your eyes. And you were afraid, though fear personified is afraid of you. This sight is bewildering to me. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Here is another explanation of the bewilderment created by the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is the supreme in all circumstances, as already explained. Here is a perfect example of the Lord's being the supreme and at the same time a plaything in the presence of his pure devotee. The Lord's pure devotee renders service unto the Lord out of unalloyed love only. And while discharging such devotional service, the pure devotee forgets the position of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord also accepts the loving service of his devotee more relishably when the service is rendered spontaneously out of pure affection, without anything of reverential admiration. So reverential admiration is the way people worship Lord Narayana in Vaikuntha. But in Goloka, everything is very, very, very intimate, and it's based on spontaneous love and devotion for the Lord, in which all the rules and regulations are not followed. It's not because they're deviating, it's because of the extreme love that they have for the Lord. And therefore, and now we're going to hear how the Lord subordinates himself to such devotees, whereas it's impossible for anyone to conquer the Lord, but he is conquered by devotional service. Therefore, he's very reluctant to give pure devotional service to someone because he becomes vulnerable by that. So therefore, only a person who is proven without any doubt of their purity and their sincerity in serving the Lord can come into this inner circle of the Lord, which is Goloka Vrindavan. So the Lord's pure devotee renders service unto the Lord out of unalloyed love only, and while discharging such devotional service, the pure devotee forgets the position of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord also accepts the loving service of his devotees more relishably when the service is rendered spontaneously out of pure affection, without anything of reverential admiration. Generally, the Lord is worshipped by the devotees in a reverential attitude, but the Lord is meticulously pleased when the devotee, out of pure affection and love, considers the Lord to be less important than himself. Meaning himself, the gopi or the gopa, they think that they are superior to the Lord. And Mother Yasoda also thinks that she's superior to the Lord. The Lord's pastimes in the original abode of Goloka Vrindavan are exchanged in that spirit. The friends of Krishna consider him one of them. They do not consider him to be of reverential importance. The parents of the Lord, who are all pure devotees, consider him a child only. The Lord accepts the chastisements of the parents more cheerfully than the prayers of the Vedic hymns. Similarly, he accepts the reproaches of his fiancées more palatably than the Vedic hymns. When Lord Krishna was present in this material world to manifest his eternal pastimes of the transcendental realm of Goloka Vrindavana as an attraction for the people in general, he displayed a unique picture of subordination before his foster mother, Yasoda. The Lord, in his naturally childish, playful activities, used to spoil the stocked butter of Mother Yasoda by breaking the pots and distributing the contents to his friends and playmates, including the celebrated monkeys of Vrindavana, who took advantage of the Lord's munificence. Well, those monkeys are still there, and they're very, very, let's say, naughty. They steal, they break things, right? But they're all Krishna's friends. Mother Yasoda saw this, and out of her pure love, she wanted to make a show of punishment for her transcendental child. She took a rope and threatened the Lord that she would tie him up, as is generally done in the ordinary household. Seeing the rope in the hands of Mother Yasoda, the Lord bowed down his head and began to weep just like a child, and tears rolled down his cheeks, washing off the black ointment smeared about his beautiful eyes. This picture of the Lord is adored by Kunti Devi because she is conscious of the Lord's supreme position. So now you see, Kunti Devi is remembering this, and she can see in her mind this transcendental pastime of the Lord. So there's a difference now that's going to be explained between Kunti Devi and Mother Yasoda. He is feared often by fear personified, yet he is afraid of his mother, who wanted to punish him just as an ordinary manner. Kunti was conscious of the exalted position of Krishna, whereas Yasoda was not. Therefore, Yasoda's position was more exalted than Kunti's. Mother Yasoda got the Lord as a child, and the Lord made her forget altogether that her child was the Lord himself. If Mother Yasoda had been conscious of the exalted position of the Lord, she would certainly have hesitated to punish the Lord. But she was made to forget this situation because the Lord wanted to make a complete gesture of childishness before the affectionate Yasoda. This exchange of love between the mother and the son was performed in a natural way, and Kunti, remembering the scene, was bewildered, and she could do nothing but praise the transcendental filial love. Indirectly, Mother Yasoda is praised for her unique position of love, for she could control even the all-powerful Lord as her beloved child. So these are all very, in a sense, confidential subjects, because, like I said, the Lord becomes vulnerable by pure devotion. But yet, Lord Chaitanya came to teach people pure devotion. And he demonstrated that one does not have to become some big pundit to go back to Godhead. They simply have to be pure in their motivations to serve the Lord. And then the Lord reciprocates with them according to their feelings for him. So this is wonderful knowledge, because that means everybody, even the lowest person, can go back to Godhead in this lifetime if they simply follow the easy process that Lord Chaitanya has given. Vishwamrita Muni, he had to meditate 60,000 years. Sobari Muni was meditating underwater for 10,000 years, and still he didn't succeed, right? He had all that power, but still he couldn't succeed. And Vishwamrita Muni, of course, he did succeed eventually, but it took him 60,000 years. But here, we don't even live 100 years. But in that short period of time, if we take up the easy process that Lord Chaitanya has given us, which is what? Chant Hare Krishna, dance ecstatically, and take prasadam to your full satisfaction, and regularly hear Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam spoken by genuine devotees, and bow down before the deity, have darshan on a regular basis, or if you can, even become a pujari and worship the deity, and associate always with devotees. Those are strict devotees who actually follow the rules and regulations, and in this way, one can go back to Godhead. It's very easy. it's more fun to do these things than go to work every day and to pay taxes and insurance and this thing and that thing, and have to fix the washing machine, and have to get the car repaired, and all these things. They're crazy, right? I mean, you see, like Vyasadeva, he lives in a hut, but yet he can write the Vedas, right? He lives in a hut next to the Ganges, somewhere up in the mountains in Bhadrakashram, and he's still alive. He's still writing the Vedas for the next age, next Satya Yuga. See? But the lifestyle is extremely simple, right? All the sages, they always live next to a river, because that way you can bathe in the river, you can drink the water of the river as long as it's a running river. And they don't build these big houses. Like even Gautam Muni, he was always chanting Hare Krishna. And one day Narada Muni met him and said, Gautam, he said, why don't you take a little break from chanting and build yourself a little hut? And Gautam Muni, he said, Hare Krishna, a hut? He said, no, I don't need a hut. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. He just continued chanting. See? So this is amazing, the level of devotion of devotees, and it's an enjoyable tapasya. Otherwise, the tapasya of Vishwamrita Muni was not enjoyable. It was very difficult. That's why he fell down. But then he came back again and eventually succeeded. But it was a tremendous struggle, to meditate like that. But Lord Chaitanya has made it easy. Some people say, well, that's too easy. Give me something a little harder. What do you mean harder? You can't even do this thing. How can you do the other thing, right? It's impossible to go up in the Himalayas and meditate in this freezing weather. It's impossible to do that for most people. That's why there are only a handful of people that actually do that. Although India has 1 billion people, there's only a handful of people. You can count them on your hands that actually do that, because it's a very rare thing. But yet, I mean, if you counted all the sadhus living in the Himalayas, it's about 3,000. But out of the 3,000, how many of them stay there in the wintertime? That's another, let's say, downside. Because you can die easily because it's freezing weather. You'd have to be a real yogi to be able to withstand it. Okay, so these are interesting things. You can see how Prabhupada has given us everything. Sometimes people say, I got to read this other book or that book to get all this information. No, you don't have to read any other book. Just read Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and Nectar Devotion and Chaitanya Charitamrita. You'll get everything. See? It's not that, he only gave the basics, the higher rasas are not explained by him. That's not true. Everything is explained by Prabhupada in his books. See? And so that people make all this false propaganda sometimes. Prabhupada only gave the basics, but the higher stuff, you can only get that from this one or that one. No, that's not true. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. Damodarastaka.